Raise your hand if you plan to homeschool, and raise your hand if you plan to public school. Raise your hand if you did home birth. Raise your hand if you had the epidural. Raise your hand if you breastfeed. Raise your hand if you battle feed. And, just all the different ways that we could divide ourselves in the room, and then ask, like, okay, did you raise your hand exactly the same way that somebody else did in the room? And usually we can't even find one other person in the room who's done it exactly the same way that we have.
Yeah.
Just recognizing we all make different decisions, and that's okay. And so when we let those differences divide us, we come to these moms groups with the heart of like, oh, I really want to connect with some other moms. I feel so isolated, and I want to learn from others. I want to grow. I want to be inspired. Like, that's a really key word, inspiring each other. But then when we get in the room, comparison robs us of all of that, with all of those ways that we inspire each other, and it starts dividing us.
Yeah.
And whether we are feeling inadequate when we look around at the other moms, or we're raising our hands loud and proud, like, yeah, I did every single one of those things that you listed. I made the right choice. And then we're looking at others like, and she did not make the right choice. Well, that's divisive too.
Yeah.
Because we're pulling away from others who are like less than in our minds, or like beneath us. Well, that's not creating the community that we hope for. We have got to get past this idea of I'm doing it right and she's doing it wrong. And like I said earlier, whether it's a sense of inadequacy or a sense of superiority, the solution is a humility. Humility, humbling myself. And Jesus repeatedly calls us to humility.